that there's somebody who said that the gospel is distorted if it comes out of the mouth of somebody who has on some blue jeans or black jeans and not a suit and tie. I'm 62 years old. That was a Freudian slip. I'm 49 and a half plus. I ain't never liked suits and ties. As a boy, I didn't like it. But I'm traditional enough to be comfortable enough to wear a suit and tie on a Sunday when I come to church, because I still look upon a suit and tie as my Sunday clothes. I'm trying to say something, y'all. I'm trying to say that wearing a suit and tie and some shined up shoes does not make your heart right with God. I'm trying to get a point over to folks. You need to clean up your heart, clean up your life. You can clean up your body with some Dial soap and water. Doesn't matter what kind of clothes you got on, your clothes ain't gonna get you in there. Jesus says, my knowledge about myself is much greater than your knowledge about me. Jesus is saying, I know more facts about me than you do. I know who I am. I know where I've come from, and I know where I'm going. Now here's a remarkable principle of life. People who know who they are have a sense of confidence. They feel secure. They're able to stand up against the assaults and the accusations of others. But people who don't know who they are, who aren't sure where they came from or where they're going, are uncertain and undependable. That's how so many Christians are. When Christians really believe what God says about them, and refuse to listen to their own feelings about who they are, or listen to what somebody else is saying. And when they believe that God has made them new creatures in Jesus Christ, and they are free from the old sinful nature, they always have a tremendous sense of security and effectiveness in their life. Let me tell you something. If you're saved and you believe that you're saved, don't let nobody else tell you that you ain't saved because they saw you doing something that they thought you ought not be doing. Now don't you go out and I need to say this. I need to say this because I guess I'm talking to folks in, I start saying radio land, it's television land, some sort of land. Might be internet land too. Watch what you say now, because I might end up on YouTube. Yeah. Don't you go out and do this and such. But smoking a cigarette is not some kind of moral sin that's going to send you to hell. Having you 100 pipers and sweet soda, y'all, all I didn't know what that was, ain't going to send you to hell. Now don't y'all go out and start drinking and get drunk. Say, Pastor said it. Okay, Pastor said it. I'm gonna make anybody feeling me. You know, we get caught up. A lot of folk would never smoke a cigarette. Would never take. Some folk won't even take NyQuil because it's got alcohol in it. but they do some other stuff. The time has come for us to stop distinguishing between sins. Sin is sin. Ain't no big sins and little sins. Sin is just sin. Now the consequences of some sins are greater or more devastating than others, but in the eyes of God, sin is just sin. The third thing that Jesus tells them is, he says, you reject my claim because you look only at appearances. You judge according to the flesh. You regard me as nothing but a troublesome rabble-rouser who makes claims that he has no right to. You even think I came from Nazareth. When I was writing this, I started putting it in. You even think I came from East St. Louis. But they run around saying them nothing good. Negroes even saying that now. You know, I got out of East St. Louis. Well, I want y'all to know there's something good in East St. Louis. Jesus comes back. He coming back to East St. Louis. I just thought y'all ought to know that in radio. I'll tell some sort of land. He come back to the hood. And when he come back to the hood, his inner circle ain't gonna be 12 men. You might have some men in it, but you're going to have some women in it. Oh, Lord, they're going to drum me out now. But you never investigated. You never found out that I was born in Bethlehem according to the word of the prophet. You don't know me at all, Jesus says. You judge by superficial things. Many people today are saying no to Jesus because of insufficient evidence. They've never bothered to look at the evidence that's there. The fourth thing that Jesus points out to these Pharisees is, as a matter of fact, I do fulfill the law. He says, because your law says, the law says, one has to have two witnesses to be accepted. I have two witnesses. I myself am one. And that's perfectly proper because a man was always free to give testimony about himself in any court of law. But if what he said was corroborated by another witness, then it was much more acceptable. So Jesus says, I am one who testifies myself. My other witness is the Father who sent me. Thus, we fulfill the demand of the law, and you ought to accept that. But then Jesus comes back and says, but you don't know my Father. So the question before us now is, why didn't they arrest Jesus? Why didn't they arrest him? They didn't arrest him because the invisible hand of the Father was restraining them. Despite their rejection of him, despite their ignorance and their unwillingness to accept his claims, they could not stop him. Even though he was speaking out in public, nobody could arrest him because the Father was with him. His time was not yet. I need to say something in passing right here. It's a mighty good thing to have the Father with you. Sometimes the forces of evil want to do some things to you, but they can't do it because the hand of God is restraining you. Anybody ever been there? The forces of evil were trying to mess with you, but they couldn't do what they wanted to do because you recognize that God's hand was in it. One of the amazing things about this story is that although these men were claiming to know God, they really didn't know him. A lot of people say they know God, but the God they're talking about is a God of their own imagination.